Chapter 13, Some Not Saved. Hours have passed and it was now daytime in Adventure Bay, and Chase started to wake up in his hospital bed, and Chase had blurry vision at first, but after a while, he saw Jake and Carlos, but Chase noticed that Carlos was crying. 2. Chase, groaning, Jake, Carlos, what happened to us? Jake, all of you were bombed in the lookout, you were sent out flying. Chase, worried, who's all right? Jake, Marshall, Rubble and Everest are going to be fine, their condition is stable, however, Skye's condition is still unstable, and we are not sure if she is going to make it or not. Chase, oh, no, I don't want my princess to die. Worried, realizes, wait. What about Ryder, Rocky, Zuma and Tracker? This made Carlos cry even more when Chase mentioned Tracker's name. Chase, you guys are scaring me, what happened? Nervous. Jake sighs in deep sadness, the doctors couldn't save them, they couldn't make it. I am so sorry. Chase then cried along with Jake and Carlos for the loss of his friends, especially his leader Ryder. He had a really close bond to his owner and was probably the closest of all of the pups to Ryder, and he was deeply hurt by this. Chase, I have no words. Still crying. Chase then began to get very angry about what Swift and Sylvia did. Chase, Swift and Sylvia are not going to get away with this, I am going to make them pay. Very angry. Jake, Chase, you need to rest now, you can't go after Swift and Sylvia with the condition you are under in. Chase really wanted to go to Swift's base, and make Swift and Sylvia pay for what they did, but he knew that he could really get himself hurt if he went after them alone, and with the current condition he is in. Chase, you're right. Chase then looked at the doctors. Chase, can I go see Skye at least? A doctor, sure. Jake then tried to carry Chase, but Chase refused Jake's help. Chase, I can get out myself. Chase then, despite how sore he was, got out of the bed, and started walking towards the room in which Skye was in. Chase, is she going to make it? The doctor, well, there is definitely a high chance she could, however, she got a serious head injury, and she might be in a coma and never wake up. The words that the doctor said hit Chase right on the heart, Skye never waking up, was almost like she was dead. Jake, Carlos and the doctors then left the room to give Chase privacy. And Chase got up on Skye's hospital bed, and looked around as he saw the machines that were supporting her. He looked at her expressionless face, and helpless body, and began talking to her. Chase, Skye, I know that you probably can't hear me because you are out. Sighs, but, I have something to say, the last few months that we had been together as a couple were the happiest days of my life, and nothing could take away all those memories, but I don't want to remember you only by memories, I want to see you every day, and know that you are right next to me, and when we get older, we get married and have pups of our own. Sighs again and starts crying on Skye's chest, please don't leave me. But then, all of a sudden, Chase noticed that Skye's paw moved, and grabbed Chase's paw, then slowly, Skye started moving her head, and slowly after that, she opened her glowing and beautiful magenta eyes. Chase, Skye. Skye, Chase. Groaning. Chase and Skye then gave each other a big hug, and they kissed over and over again. Chase, it is a miracle. Skye, what happened to me? Chase, there was an explosion at the lookout, and you were in a coma. Skye, really? What about the others, are they all right? Chase knew that this was tough to break it down to his girlfriend, but he knew that he had to tell her. Chase, Skye, sighs, not all of them made it. Skye was confused by Chase's answer. Skye, what do you mean? Confused. Chase, well, only some of the pups survived. Skye was shocked to hear that. Skye, who survived? In shock and tears start falling. Chase, my best friend Marshall, Rubble and your best friend Everest. Skye, what about the others? Chase, Ryder, Rocky, Zuma and Tracker didn't make it. Starts to cry. Skye, what? In more shock. Skye then started to cry really heavily too. She also had a close bond with Ryder, but she also was a close friend to Zuma, and she was very sad that one of her closest friends were killed. Chase and Skye then hugged each other again. Chase, well, at least we still have each other, right? Skye, yeah, you're right. Gives a sad smile. A few minutes later, Marshall, Rubble and Everest came into the room. Marshall hugged his best friend, Chase. And Everest hugged her best friend, Skye. And Rubble also gave all of them a hug, and also Chase and Skye informed Marshall, Rubble and Everest about the very sad news about what happened to Ryder, Rocky, Zuma and Tracker. And of course, the other pups started to cry for the loss of their friends and their owner. Chapter 14, Ryder, Rocky, Zuma, and Tracker's funeral. Weeks have now passed in Adventure Bay, and the pups had fully recovered from their big injuries, and Chase realized that he lost his sense of smell and Skye lost half of her hearing as well, and the pups, and all of the Adventure Bay citizens attended the funeral for Ryder, Rocky, Zuma, and Tracker. Mayor Goodway, we are here today to honor some of the members of the PAW patrol who passed away due to an explosion from the lookout. Chase will have some words to say for all his fallen friends. Skye, Marshall, Everest and Rubble watched as Chase approached the stairs to say his final words for his friends. Chase, well, sighs, wow, it's hard to believe that just about a month ago, Ryder, Rocky, Zuma and Tracker were here, and right now, they are gone. Pauses, but in a better place. Rocky was indeed a very helpful pup of the PAW patrol. He helped fix everything that was broken, and tried to make the world a better place by recycling. Takes a pause, and his best friend, Zuma, even though Zuma didn't get too many chances to help the team, and I may have not known much about him, but he was indeed a really great friend to all of us, and he was indeed one of the coolest pups of our group. Takes a pause, Tracker was one of the youngest pups of our group, and even though we didn't get to see him much often because he lived in the jungle, we always had a great time having him around, and he was also a really great companion. Takes a pause, and last but not least, our owner, Ryder. He was the one we were very close to, because he was the one who found all of us when we were lost, and took great care of us, and whenever I felt down, I knew Ryder was always the one I could talk to. Takes another pause, my final words are, we are going to miss all of you, and hopefully one day, we will meet all of you again in that better place. Chase then finished his speech, and Ryder, Rocky, Zuma and Tracker were buried into the ground, as the rest of the pups shed tears for their owner and their good friends. 8. A few months later. Now, Captain Turbot is taking care of the PAW patrol, but the pups decided that they were not going to do their duties anymore after what happened months ago, but they kept their gear and vehicles just in case. Captain Turbot tried to convince the pups, especially Chase, to maybe try to begin the PAW patrol again. But the pups refused to. Marshall and Rubble were helping Captain Turbot catch some fish, and Everest meanwhile, was back at Jake's mountain with her owner Jake. And also, Chase and Skye went back to the beach again after a while. Skye, so, how is Carlos doing? A bit sad. Chase, well, he is doing a little bit better, but he is still very sad about what happened to Tracker. Skye, I can imagine, that pup saved his life and became his best friend. I know how that feels. Remembers her close friend Zuma. Chase, but you know, I am a little bit worried. Skye, why? Chase, because it has really been a while since we heard from Swift and Sylvia. I wonder why they haven't gone after us again? Skye, who knows, maybe they decided to leave us alone. Chase, I don't know, I have a bad feeling that they are plotting something against us. Because they said that they weren't done with us. Skye, I remember that. I hope what they said isn't true. I swear that if they try to hurt or kill you or any of our remaining friends, I am willing to do whatever it takes to take them down. Chase, smiles, thanks, and I agree, we are not going to let Swift and Sylvia take us down this way, and we are going to avenge our previous owner and fallen friends. Skye, and that is the Chase that I always love. Chase, ah, shucks, you didn't have to say that. Chase and Skye then kissed, and Marshall and Rubbles came back from Captain Turbot's boat with the captain himself and Francois. Rubble, we are back. Chase, any luck with catching fish? Captain Turbot, yes, we got a whole bunch today, thanks to you good bunch of pups. Chase, Marshall, Rubble and Skye sighed of sadness because Ryder used to say those very words to them as well. Chase, all right, let's go home. Sad. Swift, not so fast. 4. All the pups, Captain Turbot and Francois all turned around in shock, and saw Swift and Sylvia standing before them with very much upgraded gear and their own vehicles as well. Sylvia, we told all of you that we would be back one day, and here we are, and now we are going to bring the fight to all of you. 2. Chase, bring it on. We are not afraid of you too. You may have better upgraded gear than we do, but you are also outnumbered. Chase, Marshall, Rubble and Skye then lunged forward to Swift and Sylvia, but Swift and Sylvia just jumped over all of them and instead, they attacked Captain Turbot and Francois, making them injured and hurt. Then the former PAW patrol pups started to attack Swift and Sylvia and attempt to save their current owners. But Swift and Sylvia had a strength advantage. After a while, Rubble became injured and could not fight them anymore. And then it wasn't long before Marshall became unable to fight as well. Swift, all right, looks like it's between the 4 of us. Chase, looks like it, bring it on. Chase and Skye then charged at Swift and Sylvia and so did they, and they started attacking and biting each other. Swift and Sylvia once again tried to trap Chase and Skye in sleeper holds, but this time, Chase and Skye were ready for it, and they managed to toss Swift and Sylvia off of their backs. Sylvia, wow, I am impressed. Skye, you think? Let's settle this. The 4 pups then continued fighting, but after a long while, Chase and Skye started to get tired from the fighting and started to get exhausted. Then Swift delivered a punch to Chase that almost knocked him out cold, and Chase couldn't get up and fight anymore. And then of course, it was easy pickings for Swift and Sylvia to double team on Skye. Sylvia held Skye in position, while Swift punched and attacked her. Skye, let go off me. Struggling to get out of Sylvia's grasp. However, Skye then kicked Swift in the face, which also made Swift lose a teeth, and Skye started to beat up Sylvia, but it wasn't long before the numbers game was too much for Skye, and Skye was too exhausted to fight on. Then, Sylvia trapped Skye in another sleeper hold, and Chase tried to make an attempt to stop Sylvia, but Swift punched Chase again in the face and he was out cold. 3. Skye, Chase. Struggling. Then, Skye started to fade again. Her magenta eyes were getting weary and closing, and after a while, she stopped struggling and she was out cold as well. Swift, take everyone hostage, expect these 2 humans and Chase. Then Swift and Sylvia put Marshall, Rubble and Skye in a bag, and then Swift and Sylvia took off in jetpacks, leaving Chase and the Turbots out cold on the beach. Plus, Sylvia, I have got to hand it to Chase's girlfriend though, she was tough. Swift, well, I am much stronger than you anyway, so I would have finished her already a long time ago, but anyway, we got all of the pups that Chase cares about, and now he will be the perfect bait as well, and then we will take out all of them. Sylvia, why don't we just take care of all of them now? Swift, because I want Chase to suffer more than what I did, and then I will end his sad, miserable life. Sylvia, that sounds cruel, I like it. Smiles, then realizes, wait, wasn't there another pup named Everest, who lives at Jake's Mountain? Swift, oh, yeah, there is still one more, let's knock her out, put her in the bag, and then, take all of the pups to my second base, which I have somewhere in the mountains, but there are just outside of Adventure Bay as well. Chapter 15, An Unlikely Alliance. AM hour later. Chase and the Turbots woke up and groaned in pain. Chase, groaning, are you okay, Francois and Captain Turbot? Captain Turbot, we have a few cuts, but I think we will be fine. Groaning. Chase realizes, wait, where are all of the pups? Remembers, Swift and Sylvia took them all. I hope they didn't hurt any of them. Realizes something else. Wait, they didn't get Everest. Chase then tried to give Everest a call. Chase, please answer. Praying. Everest picked up. Everest, yeah Chase, what's up? Chase, Everest, wherever you are, you need to get out of there now. Everest, why, what's wrong? Did something happen? Chase, Swift and Sylvia took all of the pups hostage, and I'm pretty sure they are coming after you too. Everest, is my Marshall okay? Just then, Sylvia grabbed Everest from behind and also wrapped her in a sleeper hold. Chase, Everest. Everest tried her best to get out of Sylvia's hold, but then, she started fading, and her blue eyes started to get weary and close, and then Everest stopped struggling, and was out cold. Swift, too late. Swift and Sylvia then picked up Everest and put her in the bag, and then they left with their jetpacks and the bag. Chase, oh, no, I am too late. And now I am all alone. Starts crying. But then, Chase came up with an idea. Chase, to himself, this will probably not work out, but this is pretty much the only option that I have at this point. I will try to go to Barkingburg and find Sweetie. And I will see if she is willing to help me, because I can't go against Swift and Sylvia by myself. Chase then got into his old PAW patrol police uniform, into his old police vehicle, and drove his police truck on his way to Barkingburg. Meanwhile, Swift and Sylvia have arrived at Swift's second base that he had. Sylvia, I have got to say, you came really prepared for this. But then, as Swift started to pull the unconscious pups out of the bag, and tie them up against poles, Sylvia started to feel really bad about what Swift was doing. Sylvia, you know Swift, maybe this isn't such a good idea. I mean, don't you think we are taking this a little too far? Swift then pinned Sylvia against a wall and held his paws on her throat, almost choking her. Swift, don't tell me you're starting to be on their side. I will take out these pups very soon, and I will take out Chase as well, and if you have a problem with that, then I might have to kill you before I even kill them. Sylvia, no, of course not. Scared and trying to catch her breath. Swift then released his pressure off of Sylvia. Swift, good. Now let's tie the rest of these pups up before they wake up and try to get away. Sylvia now couldn't believe what she had gotten herself into. She knew what was the right thing to do, and was willing to finally let the past all go, and give up on Chase and try to help them, but she knew if she tried, Swift would kill her. She knew she made a big mistake that now she couldn't get out of. 2. Meanwhile, Chase had now finally arrived at Barkingburg, and the princess was at the gate, and she welcomed Chase. The princess, oh, hi Chase, how is my favorite pup doing? Chase, hey your highness, actually, no, I am not doing good. I really need to talk to your pup. The princess, why? What's wrong? Chase, well, you probably didn't hear about what happened, but Size, our leader rider, and our teammates, Rocky, Zuma, and Tracker passed away a few months ago, and I will tell you what happened another day. 1. The princess, oh no, I am so sorry to hear that. The princess then got down on her knee, and gave Chase a pat on the head. Chase, thanks, and now the 2 pups who did it now have my friends and girlfriend hostage, and I was wondering if maybe your pup could help me. The princess, alright sure, you can see her. Chase then entered the castle and greeted the Earl as well. Chase, hey Earl. The Earl of Barkingburg, hi Chase, welcome. Chase then eventually found Sweetie in the hallway. Sweetie, growls, why are you here? What are you doing here? Chase, Sweetie, don't worry, I am not here to give you any hard time, trust me. Sweetie then stopped her growling. Sweetie, well, what do you want from me then? It better be important. Chase, I just want your help. Sweetie almost laughed at what Chase said. Sweetie, you want my help? No, I am sorry, I can't do that, you always stop me from taking the crown. Sweetie then started to walk away from Chase. Chase, but wait, some of my teammates and friends were killed a few months ago. Ryder, Rocky, Zuma and Tracker, and the 2 pups who did it were my brother Swift and my ex-girlfriend Sylvia, and now, they have the rest of my friends and my girlfriend, Skye, hostage. And I would do anything to keep them safe and have all of them back, especially my girlfriend reunited with me, but I guess you're too cruel to even help me with that. Chase then started to walk away sadly, and for the first time ever, Sweetie felt awful, and despite how she really wanted to get revenge on the PAW patrol sometimes, she definitely still had a lot of compassion for them, especially Rubble, since he was the pup who saved her from the ghosts that she created about a year back. Sweetie, wait. Chase then stopped walking away. Sweetie, it's all right, I will help you get them back. Chase was really surprised. Chase, really, you will help me, thanks so much. Happy? Chase then gave Sweetie a hug, which she this time kindly accepted. Sweetie, alright then, let me go get my upgraded gear and tools, and then let's get back your friends. And I also hope Rubble is alright. 3. Chase, alright. Feeling more relieved. Chase also was a bit happy about what Sweetie said, and he knew that Rubble has a crush on her too. Chase, after this is over, I am going to convince Rubble to tell Sweetie how he feels. Says to himself. Chase and Sweetie then got into their much upgraded gear and packs, and then, they waved bye to the Earl and Princess and were now on their way to save Chase's teammates and his girlfriend.